Hey, hi. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use OpenAI DALL-E2 AI system APIs with using Python, right? As you see in this PPT depicts my demo. Here, I'm going to show you how you can use the OpenAI module called DALL-E2 at using Python code and just invoke the API and get the required response. So how you can do that at the Python code. Okay, so that's the aim of this demo. So before I walk you through the complete, the end-to-end process of this demo, kind request please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. Right. So with that note, let's get started here. Right. So as the OpenAI has provided multiple AI systems. Okay. So in that one of the module is called DALL-E2, which is a AI system which actually can create an image or an art by just using a very general language based description. If you can provide a description of your image or an art, this AI system can generate an image for you dynamically. Okay, so that is how the intelligent this system is. So now we're gonna see how you can invoke the API of such an intelligent OpenAI system, and especially with using Python here, right? So the flow of this demo will be something like this. Say you are an API developer and your application needs to consume the DALL-E2 API for generating or for dynamically generating some images which is needed for your application, right? So in such cases, you can use the endpoint or the API of this OpenAI system, and then you can integrate that with in your application, and then yes, you can use the OpenAI system capabilities basically. Okay, so in this video, I'm not going to go deeper into the application use case side, but at the starting point, the knowledge that you need to carry before you use the DALL E2 system. Okay, so basically how you can invoke those APIs from the Python with using very basic way. Okay, and try to understand how does this works. Okay, that is the aim of this video. Right? Say you have an OpenAI account, and then from that account you can opt in OpenAI API key, and then you need to install the OpenAI in your system, and from there you can invoke the APIs with using any convenient language. You can say Python, Node.js, PowerShell, or anything. Yeah, for example, say. All right. So here the process would be something like this. I will show you a code where like developer will be developing. He will be hitting the endpoint or the APIs of the DALL-E2 with the required parameters or required input in it. Once the it hits the OpenAI image creation API like DALL-E2, it will send a response. So response will contain an URL, and from their URL you can have an image which you can store it or download it for your use cases. Okay, so that's how this works. Okay, all right. So I'm going to take you to the another part, that is really experimenting this API with using VS Code and with using Python in it. Yeah. So this is the piece of code that I'm going to walk you through and then help you to understand how does the OpenAI DALL-E2 system works in creating a very intelligent images or arts, right? All right. So before this one, here is a prerequisite. Okay, so you need to have an account at the OpenAI portal. If you don't have, please watch my previous video where I have explained like how you can create an OpenAI account with using an email address with verified, right? And then later, once you have an account, you can go to the profile and click on the view API. It will be redirecting to this page, that is account API keys, right? So in this one, if you click on create new secret key, you will have a secret key being created. Okay, so let's create for this use case as well. So I'm going to create a fresh new key here, so I'm going to use it in the code. For now, let me store it in a Notepad++. So I'm going to store it in a Notepad++, right? And then if you click on OK, so what it actually does is it actually stores it in your API keys list. Okay, so I will delete the previously created API key which I don't need in this demo, right? So now I have only one API key. So if I can refresh here, so you can see that I have an API key which I can use it to invoke the features of OpenAI system. Okay, so here we are experimenting DALL-E2 OpenAI system, right? All right, so once you have the API key, then then you are done with the first prerequisite, that is to have an OpenAI API keys, right? Okay, so the same API keys can be used here in this code. So I'm going to copy that which I copied in the Notepad++. So I'm going to replace this here, right? So that's what we done. So now before I run this code, I'm going to walk you through this one. So here, one more important thing is, before you can run this code, you should have your system installed with the, couple of modules. First one, you should have your system installed with Python. So how you can validate is, you can check, or you can run a command called python hyphen version. If it is returning something, which means that, it has installed the, Python system, right? So if you see it is giving the response called Python 3.11. I have my system installed with the Python, right? So on top of this one, you can install the one more module called, OpenAI. So once you have the, Python been installed, you can install the package manager called pip. Pip can be installed on top of the Python, okay, which is actually a package manager for Python programming language. Okay, so and then goes the command called pip install OpenAI. Right, so if you say python or pip install OpenAI, right, so basically if you run this command, it's going to install the OpenAI module in your system, and you need to run this command with using the elevated permissions. Okay, if I run this one, it's going to throw my error because I already have the OpenAI installed. Okay, that's the reason you see, it's in a green mark, right? So that is a prerequisite. The other one is, web browser. So I want to dynamically open the URL which DALL-E2 returns in my browser. That's the reason I'm using this module. If you are not installing a system, you can also install the web browser as well, right? And then comes the, I'm just using the OS module, which is a local module of Python. In this one, we are setting an OS environmental key called OpenAPI key. And this is the key which I have just now copied from the, my OpenAI account. And then I'm mapping that key to the OpenAI.API key variables. Okay. And then we can create or invoke the endpoint. So here endpoint is image. Okay. That is image creation. How we can invoke is OpenAI.image. Yeah. And then you go to the API called create the image. Yeah. And then, as I explained in my previous video, right, every API of OpenAI, uses a data and a general, it asks for an input. Okay. And that input is been tagged to a parameter called prompts. Okay. So in the prompt, you will explain, what you need, what image that you need, what image, what image actually that that DALL-E2 API has to respond. So with that, the description of your image or art has to be given in a very general English knowledge. Since I'm using the English here, so I'm just saying like, hey, I need a Siberian cat image. Okay, so you just say Siberian cat. That's all, right? And then you will also giving further parameters, that is n equal to 1. So basically, it has its own implication. I will encourage you to explore the what actually these parameter means at the OpenAI image create one, right? And then we are also saying like what size of the image, what is the size of the image that you are looking for. So that also can be given. That is a size like the breadth and basically the the images width and breadth. Yeah. So basically that also can be fed as an input in this API invocation. Okay. And we are collecting the response in the variable called response here. So in the response, so if I can print the response, basically it will be a JSON format, right? So I will gonna show that as well. So let's see, how does the raw input looks like that. And then from the raw input, we are extracting the URL. So the basically when you say image creation, it is not downloading image on the dynamically, but it's actually creating an image and storing somewhere in the internet. Okay. So I'm not going to say, where is it been stored? I don't know. Basically, it could be on any of the cloud. It could be Azure. It could be AWS. It could be Google Cloud. Okay, so who knows? But they are storing the image in the somewhere in the cloud, and they are giving the link of that URL. And from there, you can browse it, download it, save it, whatever you can do it. Right. So that is how the image creation is happening, right? And the creation of image is happening within no time. Yeah, basically that's quick it is. Right, so so then we are extracting the URL and printing the URL as well, and finally we're going to browse that. So why did I add this line? So that I don't need to copy this and open in a Google browser, right? So basically I just want code to do that for me, so that's the reason I have added the last line. Right, so with that note, we are ready to run the code. Okay, that is we are ready to experiment DALL-E2. How does the DALL-E2 API response when we invoke that API with using Python? Yeah, so let's go and run this code. So before that, I want to clean up this one, so I'll just say clear and then hit enter. Right, so once I run the command, so basically I'm just running this script called create image. Okay, which is an artificial API, which is an AI system. Okay, it looks like it has started to, here you go, right? So here is a very cute car, very cute kitty here. That is a cat, yeah. And this is a Siberian cat. Okay, so it looks like a Siberian. It has created a picture which looks like a Siberian cat, and it has presented an image. Okay, so this image can also be saved, copied, whatever you want to do, you can do this on this image. But remember, before that, I just promised you, how does the raw output looks from the API, right? So this is how the raw output looks. So if you see here, the output, it has says, created. This is the created key, and then in the data, in the data, it's a list of data, and in that one, we are getting the URL, right? So you see the URL. I'm getting the URL, and that URL is being browsed in the Google Chrome. Okay, and this is how the image is been looking like that. Okay, so this is how, this is how actually the OpenAI system called DALL-E2 will help us to generate an image and art based on our general description in a general language. Okay, you explain what is the image you want. Okay, it will create it dynamically. Okay, say you want to see some astronaut. Okay, so astronaut, let me say astronaut walking on moon. Yeah, let's make it very very unique image. Okay, so let's check, if it can create this image for us, an astronaut walking on the moon. Yeah, so just I'm going to save this. I say, just, yeah, get me an image which looks like an astronaut walking on the moon. Right, so let's see if it can generate for us. So here you go, it has generated, right? You see it has created an art basically. So as I said, it's not only gets an image, it also has a tendency to create an art dynamically, right? It has created an art. Say this is the moon, and this is an astronaut who is walking on the the moon. Yeah, basically, what is the aim of this video is, to help you to understand, how this OpenAI system called DALL-E2 works. Okay, and then this API can be integrated in your application, right? So application needs these use cases. Okay, needs these artificial intelligence tasks to be done at your application, right? So in such cases, you can just invoke this piece of code. Okay, so it's very simple, right? It has a 4-line code, and then you are doing such a very heavy work. Okay, so such a very heavy artificial intelligence work is being done here, and that capability can be used at our application to make it very highly artificial intelligent applications, right? All right, so with that note, I have successfully shown the things need to be shown in this video. Finally, a kind request, please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. So with that note, thank you, thanks a lot, and see you in the next video.